Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen, and I'm going to do a review on this bait right here. This is the Riot Baits Fuzzy Beaver. So what is a Riot Baits Fuzzy Beaver? Well, it's a 4-inch soft plastic. It's kind of, your beaver style bait. It's got ribbed body. It's got a whole lot of little appendages. What are some of the things you can do with it? Well, I'm gonna talk about that in the tank, but you can put it on a punch rig, a Texas rig, and use it as a jig trailer. There's tons and tons of different things you can do with it. It's just up to your imagination. So let's put it on a rig and kind of show it to you underwater. All right, so the first rig we're gonna look at is your classic pitching and flipping rig, okay? This is a tungsten weight, about 3/8 of an ounce, with a little punch stop and I think it's an owner grip pin hook, a heavy cover grip pin hook. So, got a piece of hair on it. All right, so you drop it in the water, and what's the first thing you notice when you shake it? Look at all those bubbles that pop up. Okay, you hop it around. Those bubbles, I love bubbles like that, especially when they keep coming off every time you hop it. Those bubbles, they cause a reaction strike. Say you drop it through the cover, and the bass comes down and he's staring at it, and all of a sudden he sees, you shake it and those bubbles pop up. It'll cause him a lot of times to go ahead and strike. Another thing you notice is how much action you get out of the claws, out of those little appendages off to the side. Every time you shake it, you get some really, really cool action. Now, the other thing you notice is those appendages stay up no matter what. You put it on anything, and I'll show you on a jig here in just a second. You'll notice those appendages stay up. The chevrons themselves are really, really supple, and so are the appendages. What happens a lot of times when you have a creature bait with appendages is you start punching it through heavy cover, and those appendages get hung up or cause the bait to get hung up and it doesn't get through. Well, you notice these guys right here, let me get it dried off. When they go through the cover, they collapse down up against the body, and they don't get hung up. And that was designed that way. So you see all the bubbles? That's just incredible. So let's go ahead and put it on a jig and see what it looks like as a jig trailer. All right, so the jig I've got it on right here is the Riot Baits Instigator, which is their jig, and I'll do a review about it here in a little bit. And the things you want to see when the jig hits the bottom is what kind of action you get out of that soft plastic. So let's go ahead and drop it in. You get that nice stand-up action. That has a lot to do with the jig head, but also look at the claws. I mean, the claws float up. I'm going to try to get it flat, as flat as I can. Those claws really do stay floating pretty good. Another thing you'll notice about the claws, and there's not enough water in here to really show you the swimming action, is the claws themselves, they have a, what do they call it? They're offset flanges. And these offset flanges, they cause it to kick alternating pretty nice. I mean, it's got a pretty good swimming action. It's got a flange on the bottom of one and a flange on the top of the other. The claws themselves are really soft and supple, so it's got a really good swimming action. So you could put it on as a trailer on a swim jig or something like that, or just swim your bait through the water and see if you can get bit that way. Now, last rig I'm going to put it on is I'm going to put it on a Texas rig. All right, let's go ahead and drop it in. This is just a standard tungsten bullet weight with a offset round bed Gamakatsu hook. Okay, just like that punching bait, except the weight is not pegged. Look at those claws. Look at the action you get out of them. So, one of the things I forgot to mention about this bait is that it's fairly durable for a beaver style bait. Most beaver style baits, they have the meat of the thickest part of their soft plastic, of the body of their soft plastic, is on the outside or on the sides, with a skinny, narrow part down the middle, which is all said and done when you have a couple of hundred of them and you're not worried about tearing them up with the hook. But that little center gets torn up real easy with the hook as you're pitching it through cover and setting the hook and stuff like that. Well, what Riot has done Riot Baits has done is they've made the thickest part of the bait right down the middle, so it'll last for a while. I mean, if you rig that hook straight down the center, it'll last for a long time. You get a good presentation and everything else. So There it is, the Riot Baits Fuzzy Beaver. Well, like I always say, take somebody fishing, introduce them to fishing, introduce them to my videos. Let me help them learn how to fish or learn to become a better fisherman. If you are interested in some of the techniques we talked about in this review, be sure to go visit my other channel, do a little search on it for jigs or for punching or flipping or whatever, and see some of the techniques. I get into good detail over on that channel about how to do things. Check out all my other reviews, all my other videos, and more importantly, get out in the water, get your line wet, go catch some fish, and have a great day.